Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another edition of the Voice of Hope Media. Today, I'm going to be the host of the show, and I'm sitting in for the one and only Clarice Angafo. Today, our topic is really interesting, and it's something that we all deal with in life. It's one of those things where you go through them in life, and sometimes you don't have the words, the right words to express how you feel and how you're going through, and sometimes the people around you really don't get you. And it is the issue about pain. Pain is an interesting subject, and it's something that we are not claiming to be experts by no means of imagination in this field, but we are just going to talk from a point of experience and what we've been able to go through in life. And today, if you would indulge us and be part of this show, we would like to share some of the experiences that we've had and the knowledge we've gained, because experience, like they say, is the best teacher. Today, the topic is going to be hidden pain and the journey to finding hope and peace. This is what we're going to be talking about today. And today, my guest is none other, not a stranger to the show by any means, but today is going to be one where she would not be asking others about what they think about certain topics, but she is going to share from a point of view because of her own personal journey and experiences. None other than Clarice Angafo. She is a lady who sometimes we could just limit people by describing them being a mother, a wife, a daughter, and all of those stuff. But she is more than that. She's an inspirational speaker. She is a motivator and encourager. She's one who carries a smile on her face. If you look at her countenance, it would never tell you what she's been through in life. But yet, she has a whole lot to tell and to share. And it's something I think we could all learn from today as we journey and navigate through this thing we call life. So today, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the one and only Clarice Angafo.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good to see you and welcome
Thank you so
your
much.
show.
It's our show. Thank you so much for having me today
Thank you.
as a guest. That sounds different.
Yes.
And I think it's a good place to be. From now onwards, I think you have to take that seat of.
Well, I'm happy to do that. But before we go into it, do you mind just sharing with our guests who you really are, so that people get to know that you are not just somebody who just like you grew up like mushroom around the corner. You've actually been through life, and life for most part as well has been through you. So would you mind just sharing with our guests what this looks like to you and who you really are?
Okay. Sometimes I used to wonder, should I just be introducing myself as I'm this beautiful mom, this caring, extraordinary mom, mom of 5. Yes, I am mom of 3 on earth and mom to 2 in heaven. And surprisingly, to some people, a grandmom of a 5-month-old little gorgeous boy. I'm sure he's watching me. He's watching us right now.
Yes, he has no choice. He better be watching.
Then I'm also a wife to the king. So I'm the queen, right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Aside from that, I'm still learning this, right? I'm an author of an upcoming book called Grief to Greed. I'm an inspirational speaker, and I'm a coach and a mentor to people, to individuals, to families who are facing life challenging and complex issues, including special educational needs.
Yeah.
And these areas, they're all based on my personal experiences. Like you said, I've been through life and life has been through me.
You.
So, and I believe that every experience lived is worthy and has value. And it also has the power to transform lives, which I am a true example, because my experiences are transforming lives. They have transformed my own life, and I'm actually seeing the difference that I'm being able to use my experience to help others out there, to educate, to empower, to inspire, and then to give hope to anyone who has gone through any form of tragedy, be it a divorce, be it the loss of a child, be it raising a child with a disability. It may be facing mental health issues. I talk, I encourage you, and I give you hope that no matter where you've been down there, there's an avenue to rise. There's light at the end of the tunnel. They always say, but mind you, when you are in the heat of that moment, everything is dark. That end of the tunnel, you cannot even see it because it's all darkness. But I assure you, I'm sitting right here. I can assure you that there is always light. If you give yourself time to go through those dark moments, there is. So that's basically me. I don't want to say just me because there's still a lot about me coming in the next year.
That's right. That's right. And we strongly believe in that. So before we actually came on today, previously, like some days, a few days ago, we actually put out the flyer and some messages to get feedback from the people out there, those who will be keen. And please feel free to ask your questions on the screen that you may have. And if we think we might have an answer for it, we will provide one. And if we don't, we are all happy to learn and then to share what we found out so that we grow together as a people and as a community as well. Now, we managed to put this out, and there have been a few feedback. Some have sent me messages directly, others have written on Facebook and other social media platforms as to what they thought or what they think is all about that concerns pain, and what they think could be the way if there is need for a pain management strategy or stuff like that. So I don't know if you've managed. I have a few. You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first while
Right.
I'm looking for
I had a message, I don't know, from a friend called Gani Cole. She said, I believe pain ought to be effectively managed to obtain obvious/remote lessons and strength to fulfill one's ultimate purpose. And then I also had one from my friend, my brother, my unidentical twin, the one and only Focam Table, and he actually sent me a message. And he's a blessing. He's been a blessing throughout my life, I would say. He said, for him, it's not just the negative connotation that we attach to pain. He had a spin on it, and to throw more light on it being positive. Well, you could understand from where he's coming from, because most of his life he is actually a clergy. So he would now throw the light, which is to give us hope. So he says, pain is an indicator. Pain is a teacher. Pain is a message. Pain has capacity to build. Pain is a reminder. Pain can also determine levels of gain. Dealing with pain is a matter of perception, and also what is the source of the pain. Also, the purpose of the pain will come with what it can achieve. But a person who has understanding of purpose can take any form of pain and transform it to gain. Now, this is something that actually blessed me when I read this message from him. I thought, this is so true. And the reason why it's hard for us to actually see the gain in the pain we're going through is the journey itself. Now, we are not going to go into that yet. We are going to go into this when we start doing a little bit of interaction and interviews, question and answer part of it. So now, did you get any that you would like to share, please?
Yes. When I posted just a few days ago, when we put up the flyer, I had this beautiful message from my friend Ivy Bingwa. Hi Ivy, if you're watching. So thank you so much. You are a phenomenal lady. And she said, I have definitely grown in my ability to manage pain. Long time ago, I used to run away from pain because it was too painful to think, talk less of go through it. So I would numb my feelings towards it. That, however, meant that I lost all my ability to genuinely feel any other feelings. Now, as she says, I face it. I see it as part of the growth. She also says, I have fully embraced the growth mindset, and that has allowed me to see pain as stepping stones. It does not pain any less, but my perspective of how to face it has changed, which has made it easier to manage. You get the message? That's really, really someone who has worked on her mindset, and she knows exactly what she wants. Then another one from Chi Kim, it says, I felt a lot of pains in 2018 after I narrowly escaped death from the hands of Amber. I never knew I could endure such deep pain, but I did for 3 good months. So if they're saying it in the past, it means they are much better now. Then my other sister, she's my sister from another mom, another dad in Zambia, Jane Moma. She says, I really felt the pain in 2011 when I lost 3 people who were so close to my heart, 2 uncles and a young brother. Didn't know I would come out of it. It was so painful. Time is a great healer, she says. After I embraced with the grace of God, I felt my life changed, but it was a long process. She finally says that pain comes with different shapes, but I have learned to face and live.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much, guys. If you're watching, share. So,
all right. Well, once again, ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned to the Voice of Hope Media. It's a platform where we try to encourage people to share what their experiences in life and what they go through, to see how we as a community could get better at things and then to improve our lives here on earth as well. So today, again, our guest is none other than Clarice Angafo. So she is going to share with us today some of our own personal experiences and journey through life, and especially dealing with pain. And sometimes pain is hidden and you can't always see by looking at somebody whether they're in pain or not. And some are actually physical that you can tell.
Yeah.
So those are some of the differences that you can navigate through life, and then you come to terms with them. But today we're going to have a look. I know you're an author and you have a book that is coming up, and it's actually part of your life that you've part of it that you've tried to put in a book, because there is more. You can't really put all of it in a book. But now, if someone were to ask you, like, now that you've gone through this, you're now about to, very close to releasing this book and stuff that you've written in it, how would you describe pain to somebody from your own personal experience? How did it feel to you dealing with it at the time? What would you say?
well, like someone said, pain comes in all, I should say, shapes, size, form, everything. And like Tebo said, sometimes or not even sometimes, you can use your pain and transform it into gain.
Yep.
Yes, as my book says, the title is Grief to Greed, and it explains touching tale of love, loss, pain, and tenacity.
Yes.
Yes. And somewhere inside my book, I've actually talked about pain, which is, I said, this type of pain is the pain where you cannot rate. You know, when you're going to when you're in the hospital and the nurses or the doctors come around and they're asking you, are you in any form of pain? Then when you say yes, they'll ask you to rate the pain.
Yes.
From 1 to 10. So as it goes up, it's, if it's 10, then that's excruciating. Then that means they really have to be acting upon
some sort of an emergency.
An emergency, yes. That's some sort of a physical pain that you feel, that you can actually feel. If I break my arm, I will feel it. I will know that it hurts here. I can point that this place hurts, or my head hurts. This is where it is. But with the other form of pain, which sometimes I call it emotional pain, I don't know if that's the right word, but you don't feel it. You don't see it. You feel it. You know that you are in pain, but another person cannot just look at you and say, oh, where does it pain? Even if they ask you, you will not know what it is. You don't know whether it's paining here or it's paining there, because you are just aching. So to me, I would say pain is something that cannot be felt, it cannot be rated. And depending on the cause of that pain, sometimes it lasts longer than you going through that thing that caused the pain expected. Yeah. And it can also last a very long time, or the way you handle it, the way you manage the pain, it depends on so many factors as well.
Okay.
It may be your childhood upbringing, it may be your surrounding environment, and again, just the cause of that particular pain. Just like I wrote in my book, like losing a child, to me, is the most painful thing that ever happened to me. Unfortunately, right up till now, I haven't yet seen that thing that will ache me or hurt me as much as as losing a little innocent baby. We see him as an innocent baby, but in the long run, as you go through the process, you tend to understand the purpose. You tend to understand that pain, and then you try to look at the positive side of it. But face value, most often when they talk of pain, what comes to your mind? Negative. Yes, instantly it's something negative, it's something painful. Yes, it is painful, but as you go through the process, you realize that pain can equally be turned into something very beautiful. It can be turned into gain. Like I turned my pain into my book. I've also turned my other pain into having a charity. there are so many things which we can actually do with our experiences, especially when it comes to pain.
Right. I know. I also noticed that you are a lady of. I don't want to use the word religious loosely, but you have a strong belief in God.
Yeah.
How much of the divine was in you that helped you through this journey that you've been through?
Okay. Um, apparently, I've had quite a few journeys. So, so sometimes I don't really know which one to touch to
Yeah.
look at. But in a whole, when I
Like
look at
losing,
all the
losing because
journeys,
you've touched this one, like losing a baby.
a baby,
Yeah.
yes. At first, right, it was shocking. You know that when I was pregnant, right, um, at 40, that's when you turn 40, life is starting,
Yeah.
right? As everyone knows, life begins
Oh
at
yes,
40.
you glow at 40.
And I definitely did. Whew. And then when God says, no, 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 this is time for you to start being a new mom
Yeah.
again. I was like, really, God, really? Okay. That's so when I had asked him all those questions, really, when I asked for you, when I asked for this beautiful gift, you didn't give me when I
When you
asked,
asked.
and now you've given it to me now in your own time.
Time.
And then someone, my younger sister, consoled me. Remember that sometimes um, God answers unanswered prayers. God answers prayers which you've made in the past. The only thing is that when we are making prayers, when we are requesting something from God, we are expecting it right now, immediately. God, you just have to do it now. You just have to give me now. Unfortunately, God has His own time.
Timing.
Yeah, He has when He wants to do things. Probably, I think He knows better. He knows when you will be ready. You know, mentally, physically, financially, or psychologically.
Yes.
He knows when you will be ready actually to take care of that little being. And I think that was His timing. But to me, at that time, wasn't my timing.
Your time.
As I thought. But when I started going through the process, I realized, oh yeah, I think this guy up there, he knows exactly what he's doing. So I said, all right, this is it. Let me rock my pregnant at 40, right? So these experiences, they are quite. I will not minimize any experience that I've been through.
Yes.
I will not minimize anyone's experience that they've been through because I know that each experience has a purpose in your life. Yeah. So
Right.
I'm not sure if I've answered the question.
No, you have, which is.
And then, yeah, another thing too, as far as God is concerned, you remember I questioned him. So remember what happened with Job in the Bible is Job when he questioned. Yeah, I questioned and I actually, I kind of lost faith. So if I was speaking with someone and he started telling me, oh, take heart, Claire, God knows what he is doing. And I'm like, really? If God knows exactly what he's doing, then why can't he just tell me now what he's doing? So you reach that stage where you question him so much and you're like, I don't really want to hear again about, I don't really want to hear about you anymore. But as a Christian, as a Catholic Christian, I know that there's a supreme being up there and he answers those prayers and I know that he knows exactly what he's doing. So after going through the process, I looked at one day, I said to myself, I am not going to go through this anymore. I am tired of being angry. I'm tired of the blaming and everything. I blamed everyone, I blamed everything and just anything, including God. So I said to him, I am tired because I had to retrace everything that has happened to me in the past. Then I put everything together and I said, but why is this happening to me? This is the kind of life I have lived. But why would you be putting me through this? Then I went to the extent where I said, there are people who have done this and people who have done that, so many terrible things, and, and I can't. You know that I haven't done things like that. Why do you? So when I kept asking these questions, there was a time I said to myself, okay, now I'm tired. All I'm going to ask you now, God, is to just show me the way. Because there must be a reason why all these experiences over the years, there must be a reason. And I said, show me the way. And I think the reason, the purpose is gradually revealing itself and coming up with this book now. I think that's just one of the revelations. Yeah.
Right.
And actually, when you remember when I was in the hospital 2017, I had a dream while I was lying there at being transfused. I had a dream that I was somewhere in the village in Cameroon talking to women working on their farms, encouraging them, saying that no, you can't just be only housewives or only working on the farms. There are a lot of things which you can do to yourself. You can sign up for computer lessons, you can go back to school, you can educate yourself, you can empower yourself. And I was like, what was that message? Is it something I have to be doing? Do I have to use my experience and encourage other women or other families who have been through similar circumstances to see a positive side of everything? So whatever happens to anyone, any challenges, yeah, feel free to blame God. Feel free to cry or to be angry, but never get stuck there. Ask Him. Go down on your knees, even if it means crying, going down on your knees, begging. Ask Him. Tell Him to show you what is it that He wants you to do with whatever He has given you. Because I know God helps us handle what we've been given. I also know that there are many people out there who will like to tell you that, don't worry, God no figure wait no if you handle them. I don't like that statement. I always like to say God helps us handle what we have been given.
That's right. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, you are tuned to the Voice of Hope Media, and today we are talking on hidden pain and the journey to finding hope and peace. And my guest today is Clarice Angafo. She will be explaining some of the stuff that she's been through in life and some of the pain that she's also had to endure. So, we're talking about pain, and I know that for most people, it comes like we've just been talking in different shapes, types, and forms. We've all experienced pain. Now, if you think you haven't experienced pain, then you haven't really lived long enough on earth. And because for anybody who has lived for any considerable amount of time on planet earth, you know by now that it is either you are coming out of pain, you are in one, or you are about to head to one. I'm not a prophet of doom, I'm just a realist, and I'm just telling you how life works. And so you need to know that these things will happen. Okay, so the question now becomes, what do we do? Because it is almost like the inevitable is going to happen. So you surely would need a system, probably a plan, maybe a structure to cope with it, because it's going to come. But when, we don't know, because it comes sometimes like lightning, and before we know it, we are in trouble, in pain, popping up like popcorn in the kitchen, you know.
Yeah.
But then we have to be able to cope and deal with it. So now my next question to you is, would you think that it is something that could be managed, or something that we accept and just live with it? Or what do you think could be done with the pain that we might get through or get at some point in life?
Yeah, I think the pain can be managed.
Okay.
Yes. And I also think, and I also know that it has to be accepted and we go through it. But first of all, you really have to look within you and look at the root cause of that pain.
Right.
Yes, obviously, if you're in some form of physical pain, obviously you either look for your painkillers and take, or if it's excruciating, you need to be seeking help from your doctors, right?
Yep.
But we are not really going to go into pain,
yes,
because we are not from pain management.
management.
Department. But based on my experiences, there's normally a root cause. There's something that has caused you, that has made you to go through what you are going through. First of all, I will look at my pain as how it started when I had my big boy. I pretty much had a very early gestation period of 24 weeks in a new country, with no family, with no friends, and only my husband and myself. You know how that feels, right? You are in JJC, in Oiboland, and no family. And then you have this beautiful news, you're pregnant, then all joys, happiness. And then suddenly at 6 months, your baby arrives, 24 weeks premature, and has to spend the first 5 months of his life in the hospital. A young 28-year-old mom. I mean, it was quite devastating. And then you don't have your mother or your big sister who will like tell you it's going to be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. she, or who will tell you, okay, you have a rest, I'm going to take care of the baby, like they normally do back home in Cameroon. There's everyone around to assist you, whether the baby is in the hospital, whether the baby is ill or not, but you know that you have that the other support system. So having a baby and not being able to take a baby home is quite painful, and the baby has 50-50 chance of living. You're not sure of tomorrow. You put your head on the bed, you're waiting for the next phone call for them to tell you if your baby has stopped breathing, or they're going to take him off the ventilator and things like that. Then with manage, as he's growing up with forms of disabilities, so you have to manage all the struggles with dealing with a child who's growing up with disability, and dealing with a community that doesn't really understand, and that they still place a lot of taboos and stigma around disability, or around children with autism. So you as a parent, as myself, at one point you feel isolated, so that psychological, the pain keeps coming, keeps going and going. And then along the line, you have another baby, and then they tell you, you are struggling with postnatal depression, and then that's another point again where your life just goes back to square zero. And it's like you're starting afresh again, but not really knowing if you are really living or you are not. Then at some point, just when I'm like, I have to start blossoming at 40, then the beautiful little young man comes into my life and then leaves again after 1 hour 20 minutes. How painful is that? Usually I always say the pain, like when I sit here, I have his imprint here. Nobody sees it, but I see it and I feel it. And then as I can explain my pain, sometimes it's like I have a knife pierced in here into my heart, but nobody's actually seeing it. Nobody can feel it but me. But I have to decide how I manage that pain. So I have to go back and trace the root cause of all the pains that I've been through. So which is one of the ways that I've managed it. Trace where they are coming from, and then accept that going through some form of pain is part of life. Yes, and then look into what I can do to continue my life despite the fact that I've been through all this. And I think that is at the stage where you accept your reality. You accept that, yes, I will have to live the rest of my life with this pain, but do I have to constantly carry it on my face? Do I constantly have to like lash out at people? Because that's how pain can affect you sometimes, because deep down there, you are angry. When you are in pain, obviously, you cannot be a happy person.
Yep, true.
Yes. So, acceptance as well, that's tracing the root cause of that pain, acknowledging the pain, knowing that it is a process that you are going through, and then accepting that going through pain is part of life, and then looking for ways to help you manage this pain. It can just be leading an active, positive lifestyle, yeah, or using your pain now, you're transforming your pain into gain, into doing something. Like now I have transformed my experiences. For example, I am an autism ambassador, an autism advocate. I do a lot of autism awareness.
Yes.
I talk, I mentor, and I coach parents of children who have who are autistic. And I also talk. You remember the 25 push-ups for
challenge? Yes.
Yeah. So that was really encouraging, because I took it up and I know how it helped me physically and mentally. And for you will be surprised that I think I touched more than 5,000 lives just from the views, just from people viewing my videos. So what I am actually saying is, you can use your pain to turn it into, again, to turn it into something positive. And like Table said, pain acts as a teacher.
Yes.
I will say pain makes you to focus.
Mm-hmm.
Pain makes you to reflect.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Sometimes you have to be down there in the darkest part of your life in order to realize that this life is worthy. And yeah, pain actually is a very good thing to go through, because those who have not or those who have not gone through any form of pain or any form of challenges, sometimes they are not capable of appreciating what life is. And I can see pain really humbles people.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's
Pain.
an interesting one, because pain actually humbles some people. And sometimes it's true. You know, it will make you go down on your knees. You get off your high horse. And so it's a good teacher as well, that for you to know. And I've also come to realize that pain is real, even if nobody knows. It's real. The person is going through it. You may not understand, or you may not see it. That does not negate the fact that pain is real.
Yeah.
And for most part, even though we know that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that no matter how long the night takes, the sun will finally rise, and weeping may endure for a night, but joy is coming in the morning. All of this stuff, it's all good, and it's I do believe in that. But I think the problem with the human race is we struggle. Like, if they say there's a light at the end of the tunnel, the problem is living life in the tunnel.
Yes.
That's where people give up. That's where people throw their hands up and throw in the towel. They might say weeping we endure for a night, and then joy comes in the morning. Your problem is not that you don't know joy is coming in the morning. It's the weeping that you endure during the night.
Yeah.
And I think that is what we have to focus on, is how we go through this night part of our lives, which for most people, it's where they give up. It's where people quit life. It's where people say, you know what, if this is what this is going to be like, I'm no more part of this. But then we know that there's always a strength. If you take that pain and look for a way to channel it into a gain, you'll be able to navigate through life and then to make it on the other side. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned to the Voice of Hope Media, where today we are talking on hidden pain and the journey to finding hope and peace. So how did you find peace, hope, and to have the smile that you carry on your face today? How did that happen? Because everything you've explained to me today, some of which I didn't know, and I'm just finding out, which is good, because it's not everything that people ought to know about you, unless when you start sharing your story.
Yes.
That carries some credibility, and that is a sign of maturity as well.
Yeah.
It's
a sign of healing.
It's a sign of healing.
Yeah.
Yes, true. Because now you carry this smile on your face that does not indicate or tell people what you've been through in life, right? So people could see you and think that, oh, your elevator goes to the top floor. You never lack anything. You were born with a golden spoon, and everything is rosy, and everything you wake up and everything is cool. But they don't know your story, because behind that smile, you have breakfast in bed, like the queen that you are. So, but they don't know that behind every smile there is a story.
Yes.
Yeah. So how have you managed to find peace, hope, and to carry this smile? I mean, considering what you've been through.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, behind every smile there's a story, and behind my smile there are stories. Just like I've hinted here. I mean, there was a time, you may know, you may not know. There was a time you can actually look at me and say, "Oh, and pity me." Yes, I don't like that me anymore. But at the same time, I think I had to go through that. And one of the greatest lessons I've learned is that whatever you are going through, whatever challenges you face, they should not define you. I mean, they don't define you. They don't make you. They make you somehow, but they can't define that this is you. You can't define yourself with your problems, with your challenges. And then I discovered that I have, well, pardon me if I'm boasting, I discovered that I really have a beautiful smile, right?
Amen to that.
Amen. And I actually discovered that when I smile around, people around me are quite happy.
Right. So your smile is quite contagious.
It's contagious, and it's therapeutic as well. One of the reasons why people are usually afraid of that light, or not sure whether they will see that light at the end of the tunnel, is because of the process.
The process.
It's because of what happens in the tunnel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because at times we get stuck at some point.
Yeah.
We get stuck in the journey, in the middle of that anger, in the middle of that pain, and we stay there for too long. And what does anger stops you? Anger blinds you
Yeah.
from seeing anything positive in what you do, in what others do, in what you say, or in what others say. And that as well is what pain does to you. Because if you're in a form of physical pain or any form of pain, at times you don't really feel like doing anything. You don't actually feel like getting out of bed. But it is through that process that you will be able. It depends on how you manage yourself in the process, that you will be able to have that smile and have that peace. I reached a point where, I mean, when I lost my baby in 2017, I was so angry. I mean, I don't know, for some reason, with myself, with God, with everyone, I was so angry. And then it reached a point where I said to myself, if this only continues, I may end up losing my life, or even losing loved ones around me. And then I was forced now to reflect.
Yeah.
I had to go back in time to reflect where everything started. And I developed the attitude of gratitude. I started looking at things on the positive side. I said to myself, instead of crying that I had my baby and I lost him after 1 hour, 20 minutes, what about those who had their babies and the babies were born still, and the baby never had any life here on earth? What about those who have never actually had a baby, or those who have never been pregnant before? So when I started developing that attitude of gratitude, something changed. And also, when I started appreciating what others do to me, there was a change as well. And I also looked at it in the way that if I concentrate so much on my pain, on the anger that this pain brings, I may never move forward.
Yes.
I may never do anything positive for myself or anyone around me. And I started changing my mindset, that instead of blaming, instead of getting angry, I will start appreciating, I will start acknowledging whatever experience I've been through, because I know that without these experiences, there are so many things I would have been able to do. Who would have said that I would know something about autism, about communicating with a non-verbal child? Who would say I'll be able to stand in front of people and talk to them about raising awareness what autism is, encouraging people, motivating people to hope for the best, telling parents out there to appreciate the child they have in front of them, instead of thinking of the one that they don't have.
Yes.
Who would have thought that I'll be able to do that? But when you start looking positively at every challenge, every pain that you've been through, and then you also think about it, your mindset as well. You try to figure out, try to reason things in many more ways, instead of seeing it only one-sided. I mean, it helps a lot. And then knowing that what if you concentrate so much on the pain, it hurts you more. Yeah, and you may, if not careful, you may equally lose your life if you carry on for too long. We all know what long-term trauma can cause. We know there's a lot of mental health issues out there, and sometimes they start just with the pain, and it keeps growing. If not managed at the beginning, then it leads to something else in the long run. But I have discovered that there's peace when you start accepting, when you accept, when you appreciate, when you acknowledge and you embrace whatever you've been through.
Yes.
And then just living life as it is, instead of saying, oh, I wish my life was going to be this way. And I also think there's that aspect of resilience as well, and also with humble beginnings. Yes, those who grew up with very humble beginnings, like myself, you tend to appreciate more in life because as children or in our childhood back growing up in Cameroon, we did not grow up with golden spoon in our mouth. You know that very well. So when you look back at some of our experiences, they actually mold us into being able to accept and to be able to maybe understand more
Yeah.
what we are going through now, and then that tenacity comes in. Yeah.
So now you've used the words resilience. You've used exciting quotes like the attitude of gratitude, and you've also made mention of process you go through and about being able to manage what you're going through successfully in order to have this peace and hope.
Yeah.
Now, how much? I just want to find out. Now, we talk about processes and managing it. Does that also entail you having people around you when you were going through your own journey at the time? How much credit would you give to the people that were around you, and how much do you think is important to have people around you who are there for you and not against you? Do you think that is an important thing for people to consider, especially when you're going through painful situations or experiences in life?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a very, you don't ignore those who are around you. They are part of the process, remember.
Okay.
Because, for example, like myself as a mom, normally they say if a mom is not happy, the entire house will not be happy. Yes. So you don't ignore those who are around you, because whatever you are going through, they will also be going through it, maybe in their own way. And that's one of the reasons I said I had to develop the attitude of gratitude and to be able to appreciate. Yes. So so I was grateful for those who were around me, because there was quite a lot. There have been quite a lot of people who have carried us through this journey. I can't lie that I can't say that we've been through this journey all on our own, or I've been through it on my own. I have a family, even back home. Yes, they still support back home. I have over the years, I've built a community of friends and also family, people I can call family here, who have been quite very, very supportive. There are so many of them, and I know they know themselves. And I'll always appreciate you. Even those those amazing, like you said, those who are with me or against me, even those who are against me, then I used to think that, oh, they don't really like me, they hate me. But when I started changing changing the mindset, changing the way I see things, I appreciate those people, because
they made you who you are.
Yeah, they actually made me learn. They forced me to learn, because anyone who didn't treat my son, who is autistic, well, that I used to get angry with for not accepting him, for not inviting him for birthday parties, I'm like, thank you so much, because that made me know that if you do not involve me or my son or my family, we will involve ourselves. If whatever thing you do, I used to get angry, but now I don't, because I actually see that whatever thing somebody does, especially when it comes to autism or disability, is ignorance.
Yeah.
And so many of us are still, still have the stigma. We still have a mentality, but the mentality back home, where we used to know about disabled children, Obanjis, Ngombeds, and things like that. But at first, when somebody calls someone Ngombe, I get angry. You say anything negative about a disabled child or I will not be happy. But now I laugh and I say, guess what? You need some education. You need some sense to be put into your head.
Yeah.
So that actually forced me now to be able to learn more, in addition to my first-hand experience that I have with my son. I actually went further to do a postgraduate degree in autism, because I know that there's a lot of awareness, autism awareness, that is needed out there. And I have to teach people, because if we do not tell people what is happening. They will not understand.
Yes.
Like if you are in pain now, then I suddenly see you behaving funny, maybe getting angry, shouting, and I also get angry with you. Who is a better person now? Yeah, none of us will better. So there has to be someone between us who will be like, hang on, I don't think he is right. I think something is actually wrong. Can I approach him in a different way and find out what's actually happening with that person? Yeah, it's because sometimes you have to take a step back. I saw a quote somewhere that with your enemy, I think with your enemy you have to be different. You don't have to act. You don't have to do the same thing that your enemy has done to you. For example, if somebody has killed a member of your family, you don't have to. That is the best revenge to your enemy is not to be like them.
Yes.
That is the quote. Yes. Yeah. So if somebody does something that you do not like, look for a way maybe to teach them a positive lesson, and not revenge in a negative way. So people who are around you play a major part, and especially when they understand, when they give themselves time to understand what you are going through and look for ways to help you. But at times they can only help you if you open up. Because if I don't tell you that these are my struggles, you will never know, right? You will never know how to manage me if I'm in a difficulty.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So it is also necessary for us to be able to speak up. We live in a society, in a community where sometimes people talk too much. At times we withhold our information because we don't know what the other person will say. Some others are a bit judgmental. At times we are afraid that we will be judged based on what we are going through, based on what we've said. But I still think that it is absolutely necessary to share our stories, to share our struggles with our loved ones, with our families. Like if you discover today that you've been going through some form of pain in your life and your family doesn't seem to understand you, then it's time for you to put everyone down and lecture. Teach them, tell them, explain what you are going through. Tell them what your difficult areas are. You can actually tell them how they can help you manage your situation. You'll see a difference in your life.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, you are tuned to the Voice of Hope Media, and today we are talking on hidden pain and the journey to finding hope and peace. And today, our guest is Clarice Angafo, and she's been sharing some of her personal experiences and that what she's been through in life, and then trying to see that she gets this pain and transformed into gain so that we could have a better community and people will be aware of what people go through and how to be able to cope and deal with them. And also, she has just been talking about you having this support system of family, friends around you, because like we know, nobody is an island unto itself. And with that being said, I would usually encourage people to be intentional about the friends you keep, the people you have around your circle. Don't just go by the fact that you grew up in the same area when you were younger, or by the fact that you went to the same school, you have the same alma mater, you have all of this stuff, and you think those are my friends. You are making a big, big mistake. Be intentional about the people that you have around you, the people that you mingle with, the people that you let yourself loose and open, people that you can trust. Because if you don't trust them, there is no way you can be open enough to share your difficulties, your dark moments with them, because they will not understand you. And for some people, you have to know the difference as well of you having fans and you having friends. There's a whole lot of things that we need to know. We need to live life in a very intentional way, because if we don't do this, it becomes, when there comes a time where we have to deal with pain, we will find ourselves wanting, because the support system is not there. And then being able to carry this pain on your own, for which most part people go silent on them, especially most men. We don't talk about pain. We just suck it up and then thinking that it's just going to disappear someday. And if you don't have friends around you that you can open up to, you can talk about difficulties, challenges you're facing, and how you go to bed at night, you don't sleep, and then you sleep during the day, you drive through the red light, you stop at the green light because there's just confusion, because pain could be such a monster that would make you even lose appetite.
Yes.
You sometimes it makes you feel you don't even feel human sometimes because of what you are going through, and the devastation that it leaves, the vestiges that it leaves on your brain, your psychic, it's so immense that we need to know how to manage this. And one of the key points is surround yourself with friends, family, and you have to be intentional about it. Not everybody is supposed to be in your inner circle. Not everybody is supposed to hang around with you. Not everybody is supposed to do that. This is not you being mean or bad. This is you making sure that you're taking care of yourself. And taking care of yourself is good business. You need to take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, you cannot take care of another person, because it has charity always begins at home. So we have to remember this. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have questions you want to ask, and you have anything or doubts, you could ask your questions, and then if we can provide answers, we will. If not, we will do the research, and then we move on from there. So now, just so that we move forward, what are some of the words of advice that you could give to someone experiencing what you've been through, or any other kind of excruciating pain? What would you say as an advice to those people based on your own personal, I'm not talking about textbook experience, you're talking about your real life, what you've been through, so that people will know that you are not just talking about something you read in book, or a postgraduate degree you did in school, and then you learn something about the first 5 steps of managing
Maslow's
pain,
hierarchy
and
of needs.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and then all of this stuff. No, I'm talking about your own personal journey and what you've been through. What are some of the advice you could give to people so that they know or have some sort of an idea of how they could deal with this pain?
Yeah. Yes, as painful as this pain can be, yes, I will still say give yourself time to go through the pain, because it's only by going through the pain that you really be able to understand what it is all about.
Yeah.
When going through pain, you'll go through that denial, you go through anger, blame, guilt, and everything. Give yourself time to go through these emotions. I mean, feel the emotions. Do not be afraid that someone is going to judge you. Yes, people will judge you. Yes, people will question you. At times, you may even question your identity. Yes, because of what people are saying. Remember, you are the one going through that. You are the one feeling that pain, and you know exactly how it feels and where it pains. Give yourself time is still all I am saying, to go through these emotions. But do not get stuck there. Because when you stay in any one stage for a very long time, it blinds you. It prevents you from seeing further. It prevents you from moving forward. And no matter how painful this pain is, there is always something positive at the end of it. Another thing which we can actually do is, which I did before it turned into my book, is you journal, write. You write however you feel. If any one single day you feel like, oh, I hate this person, I don't just want to hear about this person, write it down, because it feels like you are telling another person. Just write it down in that special book and keep it. Someday, next day, you feel another emotion, just keep writing. So I discovered that journaling really helps. It relieves you from the pain. Yeah, not completely, because you are still going through the process, but that's one way of doing it. And do not minimize your pain. Do not minimize the experiences you've had, because every experience is worthy, it is valuable, and it has the power to transform your own life first, and then you can use that experience to help transform other people. And I always say, experience is what you gain when you didn't get what you wanted. So that's really all I can say, to give yourself time and understand what you are going through, why you are going through it, and how you can go through it. It's very necessary.
So, as we've all heard, you have to give yourself time
Yeah.
as you go through this process.
Yeah.
You also have
And
to,
do not forget that there's a supreme being
yeah,
who looks down on us.
watches over you.
Yes, and you mentioned about our inner circle. Do not forget about those who are around you, because sometimes the pain can be so painful and in such a way that you may not be able to um, see. You can actually see people around you, but you don't actually realize how much impact they're having in your life at that moment, because of that dark corner you are in. Yes, so you should be able to acknowledge those who are around you and those who are able to support you as well. It may be your immediate family,
Yeah,
it may be your friends as
yeah.
well. Yes, that's really important.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned to the Voice of Hope Media, and our guest today is Clarice and Nfor, and we've been discussing the topic on the hidden pain and the journey to finding hope and peace. And I know that for most people watching, you've had your own story. You have your own story to share. And like what we've said before, if you've not encountered pain, you've had no pain, then I think you've not lived life long enough. And all I could say is keep on living, because at one point or another, you're going to come across this. And these are just some vital ideas, advice, suggestions that would help you deal with this better when you get to it. So now, before we just round up this discussion for today, and remember, this is not the end of the topic. We're going to have sessions where we could even talk about people, the pain of offense.
Yes.
People could just offend you, and then you carry this pain, this grudge, and
Oh,
then it could
exactly.
lead to other things without you knowing. That is going to be another topic on its own. So this is just like scratching the surface, so that this is by no stretch of imagination for you to think, oh, this is all about it. No, it's not.
No.
We just have to build up to something bigger,
Yeah.
and we're moving forward with it. So, but to round up for today's topic, now just a little teaser about, because people have caught the glimpse, they've seen some flashes, they've seen some teasers on Facebook or on Instagram about your book. When could they actually start thinking, hoping they could actually get a copy of this book? When would it be made public so that everybody could grab a copy to read the story?
Okay. Yeah. That baby. Oh my God. Oh yeah, grief to greed. Yeah, a touching tale of pain, a touching tale of love, loss, pain, and tenacity. Yes, it will be available online on Amazon and UK stores or bookshops around you the end of October. But this week I will start the promotion online. Yeah, using the final book cover. So I just finalized it this weekend. So within the week, from this week, Monday, I'll put it out there. So you can pre-order, but I'll put it on my timeline
Yeah.
from Monday or Tuesday, one of these days. But the book itself will be available the end of October. However, you want to get signed copy, precious, you know that precious signed copy. Yeah, you can pre-order from this coming week.
Oh yes. So you can watch this space at the end of the month. The book will be made available, but you can pre-order from Tuesday. You can just let Clarice know that, hey, even before this thing comes out, I need a copy. Secure one for me with a signed copy, so that I will get one and read. There's much for us to learn in life. Reading is one of the things that we should encourage. That's a form of learning. We learn stuff in order to be better at things and to do better as well.
Yeah.
And we are in no way saying that you should minimize the experiences that you've been through. By all means necessary, use them, but make sure you use them to turn them into something that is more useful and is going to help somebody else. So get this pain and transform it into a gain. But don't just let it whip you down and then you don't have a comeback. It's always good to have a comeback. And when you have a comeback, come harder, come stronger, come better. Not bitter, but better. You have to come. Be a better version of yourself. Pain is going to hit you. Pain is going to come like lightning. You don't see it coming. But then when it comes, as long as it didn't take you out, you still have breath in your lungs.
Yeah.
Bounce back. get up again and keep going, because that is the only way you are going to prove that you've grown, you become better and mature yourself. So today, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of our show for today, and we've been talking about hidden pain and the journey to finding hope and peace. Now, thank you for watching, and we hope to see you again next time. Until then, goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.